All right. What's up, everybody? A little impromptu stream here. Let me just make sure we're going up on YouTube. I hope we're going up on YouTube. I haven't used Streamlabs in a while. I'm out of practice. Okay, good deal. Yeah, we're good. All right. Okay. Thanks for hanging out there for a few minutes, guys. I was having some issues with the audio for the trailer. So there's a new teaser released for the Gollum game. Pretty short one, actually. Only just over a minute, and that's with, the graphics at the beginning and the end. So we'll just get right to it here. Yeah, let's watch this thing, and then we can kind of react to it.
Don't let them see us, precious. They'll find us. They'll see us. Nasty, filthy oxes! Kill them! No, we must hide. We can't let them get their nasty, filthy handses on our precious.
Kind of like that end shot there. Yeah, so pretty short teaser. I was kind of surprised that we didn't get gameplay, but I think they've kind of done some redesign on this game. I was looking through old screenshots of this game, and Gollum looks a lot different. If you see in some of these old images. Got some old concept art. Here we go. Yeah. He looks quite a bit different, I feel like, in this new one. Stupid pop-ups. Come on. Yeah, so obviously we've got... I'll turn the volume down here so we can kind of talk through this a little bit.
Don't let them see us, precious.
So we've kind of got Gollum's two personalities fighting with each other throughout this. Strangling an orc there, all in a day's work. So yeah, we're definitely looking at a stealth game, which we've known. Gollum looks like the original Sonic rendering for Sonic the Hedgehog movie. He doesn't look that bad. That was bad. I did see the Sonic 2 trailer came out. It looks pretty fun. I like that shot there at the end. This shot right here. Looks pretty menacing. Yeah, so the other thing I wanted to share here, I was looking at the description. So the description says, take on a perilous journey as Gollum, chasing the only thing that is precious to him. Spoiler alert, that's the ring. From his time as a slave below the Dark Tower to his stay with the elves of Mirkwood, climb, leap, and sneak your way past dangers. Skillful and sly, Gollum is also torn by his split personality. It's up to you to decide whether the darker side of Gollum takes over or if there's a spark of reason left in what was once Smeagol. So there you go. Yeah, so my first thought when I saw the comment or the title, The Untold Story, it was kind of like Shadow of War a little bit. Like, okay, we're gonna make a bunch of stuff up. That's what The Untold Story translates to roughly. So yeah, the interesting line to me here is his time as a slave below the Dark Tower, which is interesting. We do know that Gollum spent years being tortured by Sauron, and that eventually Sauron lets him go. But I wonder if we'll see, because Gollum sneaks into Mordor when he's searching for the ring. So I wonder if we'll get to see that or not, or play that, I should say. Yeah, so as a slave below the Dark Tower to his stay with the Elves of Mirkwood, so that's after Aragorn captures him and takes him to the elves. If I had to guess, I would think this would kind of do a cliffhanger type thing, either when Gollum goes to track the Fellowship maybe, or when Frodo and Sam get himself of whether to go out or hide. And then at the end here, I love this part where...
Nasty, filthy oxes! Kill them! No, we must hide!
Yeah.
We can't let them get their nasty, filthy hands on our...
I mean, there's not a lot that happens in this, but this is a pretty cool moment. It reminds me of in the old Return of the King game, if you recall that one, where they had drums of tar or something that you, as Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli would spill on orcs and stuff. Let's see. So what do you guys think about this? Let's do a poll. All right, polls up. Tell me what you think. More excited or not? Heinze, Nerd of the Rings, I discovered you last week. OMG, sir, you are good at what you do. Thank you so much. It's always fun to hear when people discover the channel for the first time. Brian Moon, is it canon? So I would imagine, if I had to guess, this game's probably going to be canon to the extent that like Shadow of War or Shadow of Mordor is canon, most likely. We don't know the details. I think it's 9 years, if I'm recalling correctly, that Gollum is a prisoner of Sauron, and we don't really know much of what that entails. So this is going to be a lot, almost entirely, I'm guessing, made up. But hopefully we'll get to see Aragorn capture Gollum. That would be a canon thing that we've never seen before. And Gandalf interrogate Gollum after he takes him to the Elves of Mirkwood. Kids today might talk about this game like you just did about the old Return of the King game. Those are some mighty big shoes to fill. So, well, the jury is out on this Gollum game. Return of the King is classic. All right. Grape A Foundation, are you going to play this? Oh, almost certainly. Yes. I will play it. I will probably play it live here on the channel on the release date. So you can mark your calendars for that. Actually, you cannot mark your calendars for that because we don't have a release date for this game yet. So there you go. Do you think this animation adds or takes away from the feel? I don't think it takes away for sure. I don't know if it adds much, like as far as the character and the world. It's definitely a different style, I feel like, than like Shadow of War. Like Gollum almost looks, it's interesting. He looks a little bit more cartoony, obviously, than he does in the films, but not as much as this previous screenshot that we pulled up earlier. From this was way back shortly after the game was announced. So I like the look more of this. Maybe it's partially the lighting, but I do like this more. Nathaniel McGinnis, supporter here on Nerd of the Rings. I will play anything Lord of the Rings related. I would like to see a remake of The Hobbit by Sierra Games. I actually have that for, gosh, what is it? I think I have a GameCube disc that goes in it goes in the Wii that we still have rocking out. Maybe I'll have to fire that up one day here on the channel. Yeah, escaping the halls of Thranduil might be really cool. I could see that being really cool. I actually really like the designs. Let's see here. Gandalf. I thought the designs of Gandalf and Thranduil were interesting. I think they released Mouth of Sauron too. Yeah, so there's Gandalf. Mouth of Sauron. This is an interesting take on the Mouth of Sauron. I think there's Thranduil. Yeah. I'm not 100% sold on the reindeer antlers for Thranduil. But it's definitely a unique style. So I'm curious to see if these have changed at all. As we noted that the Gollum one seems to have changed a little bit. Let's see here. GG. $10 super chat. Thank you so much. My sword forging fire starter wants you to shout him out when you get a minute. Afterwards, we are watching Rankin Bass, Lord of the Rings, then going to bed. Miles says, hey there, Nerd of the Rings. Well, hey, Miles. Sword forging fire starter. Well, shout out to Miles. Watching the Rankin Bass, Lord of the Rings. So is that Return of the King? Because so Rankin Bass did The Hobbit and Return of the King, and then gosh, why am I blanking on his name? The guy who did Lord of the Rings. Oh my gosh, I feel like an idiot. Ralph Bakshi. There we go. I knew it would come to me. All right, so 62% say that they are more excited after seeing this preview. Very nice. Do you play Lord of the Rings? I played Lord of the Rings Online. I played a lot. Not as much as I would like. I hope to get to a point where I can play more on a regular basis. Let's see here. All right. Have you played Rise to War? I haven't. I have not played Rise to War. Oh, Gigi says it is the Ralph Bakshi that they are watching. Very nice. I love the rotoscoping in that. It's a very, very unique look, and from a unique period in time where they use that. Marcus, man, I thought this would be a movie. Sad it's a video game since I hardly waste time playing video games. Bummer. Yeah, I don't have as much time for video games as I would like, honestly. Yeah, I really love a good video game. I recently started playing Ghost of Tsushima, which is really, really good. Doesn't pertain to Lord of the Rings at all, but it's a really good game. Alicia says, what would your ideal Lord of the Rings game look like? I'm glad you asked. So, what I've said for a long time, what I would love in a Lord of the Rings game is open world, for one thing. I actually really like the gameplay of games like Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War. But I want the whole map. I want everything from the Grey Havens in the west to the Lands of Rune in the east, clear down to Harad, and as far north as Erebor and Angmar. I want it all. I want multiple playable characters would be fantastic. That's one of the reasons why I love the Return of the King game, because you got to unlock different characters. I honestly like playing Breath of the Wild is the closest thing to like an open. Well, there's Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War open, but they're only in Mordor. So like Breath of the Wild makes me feel like I'm in Middle Earth a little bit because it's so well done and it's a nice fantasy world. And I happen to play the Howard Shore soundtrack when I play Breath of the Wild, so it works out. But yeah, that's what I want. I want an open world, like a game that just takes a long time to complete, something with a lot of meat to it. I want to, ride into the battle with the Rohirrim and, sneak around and hunt for Gollum as Aragorn and, travel to all different realms as Gandalf, all that stuff. Basically, I want the Lego Lord of the Rings game just beefed up and made into a third-person action adventure. Of Gondor says, I want to visually see Beleriand someday. That would be awesome. I would love to see films in Beleriand. Maybe. Swamp Demoness, this man be like, I'll make the perfect Lord of the Ring game in my head. Yes, that's what I did. I just laid it out. It's the perfect game. So I don't know who would have the rights or could get the rights to it, but, if you're a video game developer, I just laid it out for you. There it is. Perfect. What did you think about the Lord of the Rings War in the North? I really like War in the North. I still, to this day, when my brother comes and visits, we'll fire up our War in the North game. And we've gone through like the first 2 difficulty settings, and we just keep getting higher and higher and starting the game back over. But yeah, I really liked it. It's a little weird. It's got the vertical split screen thing going on, which I'm not the craziest about, but aside from that, it's a solid game. There again, a lot of I don't go to Middle Earth video games expecting to be learning the canon of Tolkien. So I just want to be entertained and sucked into the world. So oh, Mingus got one of those Lord of the Maps for Christmas and love it. That's awesome. Yeah, those maps are really cool. I've got a few that I'm waiting to hang up in my new home office that's in construction right now. So one day, hopefully early-ish next year, this whole setting will change behind me. All right. Let's play this thing again for the people who came in on the back end here. And let me know what you guys think of this.
Don't let them see us, precious. They'll find us. They'll see us.
They got the Gollum's run down really well, it feels like.
Nasty, filthy filthy oxes. Kill them. No, we must hide. We can't let them get their nasty, filthy handses on our flesh.
There you go. Yeah. I think, like I said, I think I like how they got the rundown. It seems like the way he moves, it seemed like they matched the films pretty well there. He does sound a little more raspy than what you expect. What character are you most looking forward to see in this game in the way of how they portray them, including villains? Villains, I'm always curious about. Sauron is a good one. I thought Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor did a really good job with Sauron. Like he seemed, I don't know, he seemed like more bulked up, I guess you'd say, than like in the Peter Jackson films. He's a little more tall, slender. But I kind of like the big brute. Not brute, maybe. He's not like huge, bulky, but you know, he's got a bit more muscle to him. I feel like it's the CrossFit Sauron in Shadow of War. Oh, of Gondor. That's an interesting theory. What if they made this game because they heard a rumor that Amazon was making a young Aragorn show and wanted to cash in on its success by making a game like this and was in too deep? Man, that was a whoopsie then, because they did not make a young Aragorn show. Although it sounds like that was the original idea. I don't know. I'd have to look and see how the timelines line up for when this, you know, it would depend on when this went into development, but it's possible because those could intersect. Like we said, you know, Aragorn does capture Gollum and possibly in this game. Alicia asked, do you think there'll be any video game spin-offs from Lord of the Rings on Prime? I hope there's more video games on the way from the world of Tolkien. Like I said, I love playing video games, and yeah, I still will occasionally pick up Return of the King. I've got the let's see here, I've got an Xbox 360 that's almost exclusively so that I can play the Return of the King game, because it's the only thing that'll play an original Xbox disc. So it's been a while, and we need more Middle-earth games. Ryan Nelson, we wanted an open world Lord of the Rings game with a style close to Skyrim. That would be awesome. I'd be down for that. Sci-Fi and Sorcery. Just wanted to say I love your videos. I have learned so much and fallen in love with Middle-earth all over again. Thank you for all you do. Double thumbs up. Thanks. Sci-Fi and Sorcery. Thanks so much for the super chat. Yes, this is a stealth game. Yeah, Jost says there's a rumor Amazon's already producing an MMO. I think I thought I recently saw that they had pulled the plug on that. I could be wrong though. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the timelines are pretty close to each other, that this Gollum game went into initial development and Amazon got the rights. Okay, yeah, it is canceled. Yeah. Nathaniel, I want to get an older console just so I can play Two Towers and Return of the King. Love those games. Yeah, they are classic. Yeah, they did pull the plug on it. I'm not surprised. I always thought it was kind of interesting because it kind of sounded a lot like they were doing what Lotro already does and has been doing so well for so long. No, not the Amazon show, the Amazon MMO game that they were going to make in conjunction with the show. Naturi's Chill. Hey, Matt, I'm going to gift myself all of J.R. and Chris Tolkien hardcover books for Christmas. I feel as though we're going to be let down by Amazon Lord of the Rings. Maybe. You never know. That's the thing, I've said it many times, and I'll keep saying it until we actually see the show. Like, there's no use worrying about the unknown, I'm gonna go into it. I know it's a whole thing. People worry. I worry. Shoot, I worry sometimes. But yeah, there's no reason to borrow anxiety for something you can't control. And for me, like, I'm gonna give it every chance because when I go to watch films in the theaters or watch a TV show, like I want to be transported and I want it to be good. So I'm not gonna go into it, looking to pick apart everything I can find. I'm a huge Tolkien nerd, so of course, if there's changes to the lore or something, I'm gonna be like, hey, that's not how it happened in the books. Grr. But I'm not gonna lose my mind over it, Yeah, I think I don't know. I feel, honestly, I feel a little more optimistic than I did when it was first announced. But yeah, we'll see. I know I'm really pumped for whenever we get a trailer of that. We'll have a nice big long live stream for that because we'll dissect the heck out of it. Any thoughts on Sauron's appearance in Amazon Prime's Lord of the Rings? Really wish the show features Melkor. Yeah, if they show Melkor, I'm guessing it'll just be very brief. But yeah, I think we'll see Sauron in his fair form of Anatar as well as his obviously evil form. We need a game where you play as Turin. That would go. Well, yeah, what else? I don't want to get too far off subject. We'll wrap it up here shortly, but yeah, I was a little bummed that there wasn't more to this trailer. I was honestly expecting, something like 2.5, 3 minutes long, and we'd get story and gameplay and everything. Yeah, Alicia, every live stream does end up talking about Amazon Lord of the Rings. I think every Tolkien YouTuber has that right now. But yeah, I do really like this aspect of, choosing, the Smeagol or the Gollum side, like which side's going to win out. And it might give us some replayability if that changes the course of the story. If it's, just for how I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. I don't know if this is how it's going to work, but if it's just for making upgrades or like changes your abilities and stuff like that, I'm not quite as interested, I think. But I mean, if it changes how the story plays out, that could be some cool replayability. Because I would definitely want to go through and pick the Gollum side every single time and see what happens. And maybe go on and pick the Smeagol side every time. But I feel like the Gollum side would be more interesting. Yeah. Wancho asked, did you watch the Tolkien movie? Yes. Yeah. I thought it was all right. There's some really cool visuals in it. There was some changes and some things that were glossed over that I was a little bummed that, they didn't go into more detail. But for what it wasn't bad. It certainly wasn't. It wasn't one that I'll go back to and watch a bunch of times. But I really enjoyed the visuals. Like they had the flamethrower. The guy with the flamethrower, and it kind of like implied, the dragon inspiration, that kind of stuff. So those were kind of cool moments. Yeah, I really like how Gollum dumps this lava, I guess, or molten metal or whatever. Very curious for this one, though. All right. Well, Queen of the Comments, what other Lord of the Rings games do you want to see in the future? Well, I already said I'd love to see like an open world, Shadow of Mordor style, but the entire map of Middle Earth would be really cool with lots of playable characters. I would love it if they made a Middle Earth Lego game with all the films and extras and stuff, because then we would actually get to finish the Lego Hobbit game that they never finished. But it seems like they have a hard enough time getting a Star Wars Lego game done, because that has taken years. So maybe they should just work on getting that game out before they worry about any other franchises. I'm hoping that, I can't help but think that surely with the Amazon show, especially if the Amazon show is well received and does well, that we'll be getting some kind of games, based on those same characters. What if we got like a Numenor-esque, Shadow of Mordor game that focused on Numenorian characters, something like that. Old Gunner says, been watching the vid since the Dwarves vid made a while back. Due to exams, haven't been able to watch you recently. Just got caught up with all the vids. Nice job, man. Loving them. Great. I'm glad that you're enjoying the channel. I hope your exams went well. I hope, if you're putting off watching my videos, I hope you at least did good on the exams. Because otherwise, you could have just been watching the video. I'm just kidding. But I hope your exams went well, man. Yeah, of Gondor, the opportunities are limitless if Amazon is successful, for sure. Yeah. Like, a lot hinges on the success of Amazon. I feel like, the possibilities to open up first age material for future adaptations. There's a lot riding on this show. No way this game is going to be as dark or evil as Gollum actually was. Yeah, the animation style, like he almost seems a little too cutesy, I would say. If you were wanting to see something like full on, like evil Gollum, like, who is rumored to have eaten babies out of cradles, yeah, I don't think you'll see that. Maybe he'll eat some orcs. You never know. I wonder how many teeth he has in this game. Do you know that in the films, they say a different number than the books as far as teeth? I can't remember off the top of my head how many. I think he says 9 in the films, and it's like 7 in the books or something like that. All right. Well, so that's the Gollum game. I'm very curious about it. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to playing it. Looking forward to seeing some gameplay, and a release date would be great. Yeah, if we got to see a release date, got to know when to look forward to this. It would be awesome. But I know they've had some delays and, yeah, everything got delayed, it feels like, over the last couple of years. So that's understandable. But I'm ready to dump some, molten metal on some orcs for sure. Sci-Fi and Sorcery, thanks for the super chat. Would love to see an RPG game as a member of the Faithful, trying to navigate your escape from the Kingsmen. Ooh, that does sound compelling. And then the whole thing ends with the destruction of Numenor, and you gotta escape. That's like, I could see that being the last level of a game. Yeah. Makes me think of all the early Halo games that I played in my college days, where the last level was always a planet or something blowing up and you just, all heck was breaking loose and you had to drive out on a warthog or something. See, now I'm getting in the Halo frame of mind. I haven't played the new one yet. I need to play it. I used to be really good at it, but I'm probably not anymore. Molten cheese. Yep, there you go. That is some hot molten cheese, man. I don't think it looks like that. Easterlings meet Gollum? Sure, yeah. We'll see. I don't think there's any documentation of him going to the east. Maybe some Easterlings would be in Mordor. Hard to say. Do you think this trailer's in Goblin Town? No, I think it's in Mordor for sure. Yeah. Because it says, from his time as a slave below the Dark Tower to his stay with the elves in Mirkwood. So I think we're definitely, once again, going to see a lot of Mordor. All right. Jay, does Lord of Maps have Middle-earth maps? I checked the site and couldn't find any. No, so those are all real-world maps. Sorry, I didn't see your earlier question. Yeah, so his are all real-world maps. I think it's a copyright thing as far as drawing Middle-earth locations and selling it. So yeah, he's got to play the game, So yeah, it's all real world maps. They look awesome. But I understand if if you're looking for a Middle Earth map, those are definitely out there as well. Thanks so much for the super chat, Mr. Lasmal. I hope that's how you say that. Thank you for all the entertainment. You are welcome. Thank you for watching. All right. All right, last question here. So who would win in a dragons versus Balrogs fight? My money's on dragons. There's nothing that can stop Encalagon the Black and Glaurung combined. It's a good question. You have to keep in mind, too, that Balrogs are Maiar, whereas dragons are created creatures. So... That's tricky. I think it does depend on the dragon, which dragon, you're talking about. Some of the old school ones especially would be really tough for a Balrog to take down. Man, I might have to do a video on that. Maybe I do a, that's where I need to get like an animator and animate a fight. We could do a fake fights. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Josh says Balrogs because fire probably wouldn't affect them. They are demons of shadow and flame, so yeah, the dragon flame might not do anything. All right, guys. Well, thanks for jumping on this quick live stream. We'll see what this Gollum game has in store for us. If they do a, hopefully they'll do a longer, more detailed trailer later and we can do a breakdown and everything. This wasn't so much a breakdown, just kind of reacting to it. There's not really a whole lot to go off of here, except we know that He's got the split personality thing going on. We're gonna have to choose between the Gollum side, the Smeagol side. We're gonna see Mordor. We're gonna see Mirkwood, and we're gonna be sneaking around and killing some orcs. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's always fun to take out some orcs. So we'll just get to do it really sneakily, and apparently with some molten metal. So yeah, well, it was fun, guys, and we'll see you next time here on Nerd of the Rings.